Coming to you undead from Elm Street in fictional Haddonfield with a beautiful view of Crystal Lake. The podcast where every day is Friday the 13th and every night is Halloween. You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-Ray, part of the Core Temp Arts Podcast Network. Here are your hosts, Bloodbath, Bub, and Brett667, the neighbor of the beast.
Blood, Guts, and Blu-Ray is the official horror movie podcast of the Core Temp Arts Podcast Network, the home of Let's Chat, That Pop of This Life, Failure to Launch, We Got 5, TV in My Brain. Go to coretemparts.com for more information. Rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes or Stitcher, or you can listen on YouTube, TuneIn, Google Play, all that good stuff. You can hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr. And if you wanted to, you don't have to, you could call us, and that number is 201-824-6270. Say something funny or witty, and we will put it on the show. And if you're going to leave one with us this week, we will be talking about Puppet Master 3 next week. Music is provided by the Slasher Film Festival Strategy and Nightbirds. This is episode number 047, coming from the Rose of New England. My name is Bloodbath.
And I'm Brett667, the neighbor of the beast.
Bub.
So, Bub will be able to make it if he's not too busy feuding with the Bigfoot guy.
Hey. Hey. I did, he escalated that, all right? Matt Moneymaker from Finding Bigfoot got real upset over a little Twitter comment that I made. And it was uncalled for. He called me a loser, said I'm never getting out of New Jersey. I'm probably going to visit Bloodbath this summer in Connecticut. I'm getting out of New Jersey.
That should be the reply to this. You should go all the way back and go, hey, dickhead, you said I'd never get out of New Jersey. Well, I'm visiting my friend in Connecticut right now, so who's an idiot?
Right? Like, who changes their last name to Moneymaker? Come on.
So next week, if you call the show, you will receive a free copy of Puppet Master 3 on DVD. How nice are we? We're super nice. Also, in June, we're going to be doing two things. All June, we here at Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray will be turning Japanese, which means, of course, we'll be talking about horror films from Japan. Tons of great films. Really excited about that. We also turned a year old in June, so we would like to show our appreciation by allowing a few lucky listeners to join the show each week and talk about movies. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So
I think that's a great idea.
I
really think so.
I love it.
I really think so.
I get it.
Yeah, it took me a few moments there.
It took me a second, but I got it. Anyway, we will not be recording an episode for the first week of July. We all need a vacation. So we're going to take one. And that is about it. Let's look at birthdays and death days before we go into killer news. Marilyn Burns was born on May 7th, 1949. You know Marilyn from playing the role of... What's her... I'm trying to think what her first name was. In Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Not Sharon. God damn it, I can't think of it off the top of my head. Anyway, she was the final girl, I guess. We'll just say, I can't believe I can't think of it off the top of my head. I'm like super tired. But she was the final girl in Texas Chainsaw Massacre and also in Eaten Alive.
Oh, it's Sally.
Sally. Oh, I kept thinking of Sarah. I don't know why. Anyway, yeah, she was Sally Hardesty. Yeah.
Sally, Swami.
Swimmy.
Samsonite. Way off.
Ruggero Deodato was also born on May 7th, but that was in 1939. We know him as the director of the amazing Cannibal Holocaust film and also Body Count. He is 78, so happy birthday to him. George Lutz died on May 8th, 2006 at the age of 59 from, I guess it was like congenitive heart failure. I don't know, it was pretty rough. Anyway, he's dead now. John Wayne Gacy was put to death on May 10th in 1994 at the age of 52. His last meal was a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken, fried shrimp, French fries, and Diet Coke.
That's
figure.
Serious.
Yeah,
that's serious. I would have had a regular Coke if I'm going
that's
to
serious. Yeah, it's serious commitment. Anyway, he killed 33 people. So, also sad news this week. Michael Parks died. That's right. We lost a good one. He died this week, specifically on the 10th at age 77. We know Parks from several Tarantino films, as well as movies like Planet Terror, From Dusk Till Dawn, Tusk, and Red State. So rest in peace, Michael, and our condolences go out to your friends and family. I absolutely loved you in Tusk. I thought you were the best part of it. It's a total shame. So here's what's coming out this week. Let's see. What do we have here? I got The Black Room came out this week. So did Seven Witches, Awakening the Zodiac, Dead Awake, Islamic Exorcist, and Hounds of Love. And of course, next week, we all know, because they haven't stopped telling us, Alien Covenant comes out. So there's that.
I gotta see it.
Yeah, I gotta see it. Let's switch on over to Bub for our Killer News segment. Go ahead there, Bub.
It's that time again. It's Killer News with Bub on Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray.
Okay, so Doug Bradley is back in the Pinhead makeup. You know who put him in it? The man, Tom Savini. So I guess Tom Savini's doing a thing called he's doing a thing. It's called the Pinhead Experience out in California, and he actually Doug Bradley hadn't been in the makeup in 12 years. Tom Savini made the costume, the makeup, everything from scratch to put him back in it, and it looks pretty good. I sent you that Bloodbath, right? What do you think?
I did. I thought he, it's just I guess for him, it's like putting on an old baseball glove that's full of fucking pins. But yeah, I thought it looked pretty tough. It looked rad.
The only thing I didn't like about it was the blue eyeliner shadow was a little heavy. When I first saw it, it kind of reminded me of Mimi from Drew Carey Show.
I've heard that comparison before.
Yeah, they're always real light about the blue around his eyes. It's always a real just a dusting of blue. This one, it's somebody hit him in the a clown hit him in the face.
Squeak bleep 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 beep dee dee. What else we got?
All right. So moving on. The documentary To Hell and Back, the Kane Hodder story, was just completed. And you were saying that you signed up for the Kickstarter on that, didn't you?
I did, and I haven't been really updated on the status of it, so I'm.
So it might be coming through for you. I know you said a couple episodes ago you thought you had been had, but it might be coming through.
I think they finally got the word. I'm a pretty important guy. I mean, it takes a lot to become the 6th best weekly horror movie podcast on the internet. So I made that number up.
No. It's definitely number 6.
We're definitely at least number 6.
Yeah. So all right. So Gags the Clown. You thought the clown apocalypse was over? It's not. He's back in Green Bay. What do you think about that? You guys like Gags the Clown?
Do you think it's one of the members of the Green Bay Packers? Could it be?
I mean, I don't know. I was hoping that was a third ICP member because they're so close to Detroit.
I really just would love it if it was Martellus Bennett. That would just make my day.
Yeah, it would be great, wouldn't it?
Gags the Clown is really a black unicorn like that. You can't write that. That's just perfect.
If they they're making a movie for him, right? That's what I read. So
yep, and it's I'm pretty sure it's out of Detroit. And I saw a little trailer thing where he's sitting in a movie theater and just holding black balloons. It looks creepy, but I don't know. I mean, it's hard to do a clown movie if you don't do it right.
It's true. It's not easy. It's not an easy task, and there's there's quite a few on the like Netflix, Hulu distribution market, so it's not such a rare thing. So
the market's a little saturated.
A little saturated because there's just one like go-to. I mean, you got Pennywise the Clown, which is like the Santa Claus of horror clowns, you know? Like, you're not going to replace him. It's just not going to happen. So you just hope to you just hope to become the next Rudolph at this point. I don't know. I'm just making shit up now. I just figured that was a funny analogy.
I like it.
Right,
I
good.
totally get it.
Right.
I'd settle for Prancer, you know?
I've always wanted to be Blitzen.
All right, so
I'll be Comet. I just want to call out Comet. I like Comet.
You look like a comet to me.
I do look like a comet. I'm clean.
All right, so next topic. I know you guys like clowns, but we're going to move on. The director of the next Child Play says it will be Chucky on drugs. I mean,
Does he mean it literally or like figuratively? It's like I couldn't really get that.
Figuratively. I think he thinks it's going to be all tripped out, you know?
You know, what's he gonna do? Listen to like a Beatle album or something? Like,
yeah, you know, it takes place in the 70s when Charles Lee Ray was finding his evil ways, you know. Lots of tie-dye shirts and you know, lots of mescaline.
He's gonna listen to some like Led Zeppelin and fucking it's gonna get far out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get down with that. That's cool.
I like the idea of it, but when he said it's Chucky on drugs, I couldn't help but think back of that classic commercial where they crack the eggs and like this is your brain on drugs. But I envisioned and instead of having an egg, having like a Chucky head. That would be a great marketing campaign for them.
Do you think that he's gonna sing like "Somebody to Love"? You know, like the Jefferson Airplane song, like just get really, really just baked off his gourd and just start doing it the same way that Jim Carrey did it in Cable Guy, because I would pay to see that.
Yes.
Yep. And Matthew Broderick's going to be standing there with a hooker, dancing, with a stolen PA system.
Your eyes, I say your eyes when they look at you.
Yes.
I sounded more like Jello Biafra when I did that.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's what Jello Biafra would sound like if he sang Jefferson Airplane. Which I imagine he does all the time. No, he doesn't. But anyway.
In the shower.
He might.
He might. He's weird. What?
We're so tired. It's just so weird at this point. I love it.
It's resonating how tired we are. Oh my god.
Bub is the only one who seems like he's more awake than the two of us, and I feel like that the longer this goes, the more he's just gonna have to be like pulling us in like two untrained dogs at a dog park, just like as we're like running after frisbees randomly. He's gonna be the one.
Yeah, I just want to lay down in the grass.
You got a night ahead of you.
It's gonna be Bub's show today. He's gonna be driving the whole show.
Let me just do a bump real quick. All right, so next topic. The Stranger Things 2 begins filming this month, right?
No. It's The Strangers, isn't it? It's The Strangers.
Strangers 2.
Oh.
Strangers 2.
Oh, but you know, yeah, I misread that. You're right.
Wow, all three of us.
They're both strange, okay? All right, I got confused. So The Strangers 2.
They are both things. They are both things as well.
They are both
by
things.
definition.
Okay, so but let me get collected. Okay, so
center your shade. You're good.
Yeah, strange. So they say that Stranger Things 2 is going to be more horror related, but The Strangers 2 starts filming this month.
There you go. You got it, dude. You fixed it. You really
exactly.
That's a segue.
Ship in that.
That's a segue, kids. That's
right?
how you come back
go.
to the brink.
You gotta tie them together.
You missed the glacier, buddy. You did a great job there. I like what you did.
You tie them
Iceberg
together.
right ahead and then missed it.
That's
it's
what
great.
you do. You tie them together and you drop them in the lake. That's what you got to do. So, I loved the first Strangers. I thought that was kind of creepy, like with like the record skipping and all that. Like, I loved it. And I heard that the Strangers 2 was going to like take place in like almost like a freaking what is that? Like a trailer park? Did you guys hear about that?
I did hear about that.
Yeah, it's in a trailer.
I did hear about that. That movie's I think it's a gateway into, people who like that movie, I think, became more attached to the grittier parts of the genre. They were... I was kind of already there, and it was a great movie for me at the time when it came out, because I just thought it was like, what the fuck is going on? And I liked it a lot. I'm really excited that Liv Tyler is not going to be in it, because I just...
Yes.
hate her face.
You know what I loved about that movie so much is that, like, you know what, like when we're hanging out, like me and my wife, like a lot of the times back in the day, what we would do is like we would go down the shore before school got out. You go like 2 weeks into June, and no one's down there. And that, like, in The Strangers, it almost looked like they rented a house down the shore, like not right on the shore, but like, somewhere like that's close to the shore, and no one lives down there, so there's nobody there. There's no one there to help them. And every time we do that, that's all I think about. It's the movie The Strangers.
I'm sure you enjoy your vacation when you do that, because that sounds like a terrible thing to think about.
Dude, no, I love it, because there's no one in fucking sight. That's how I like it. No one down there. I can handle myself. There's no one there. They're going to come into the house and they're going to wish they didn't. They're going to be like, oh, this fucking guy lives here.
Doesn't like 90% of horror movies start off with there's nobody out there, you're seeing things, come back and drink and get naked?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right, you should make a horror. You should make the horror movie where there's a bunch of people, where there's just so many people around, and horror is just happening.
Can I do it like a comic convention where everybody's in cosplay, so you never know? Like, there's a ton of like horror characters, but you don't know who it is. But it's like Sailor Moon. It ends up being the killer.
That'd be awesome.
I would love that. Brian, I saw that eye roll, dude. That eye roll just popped through my fucking phone. For everybody who can't see, I'm going to tell you right now that Mr. Bloodbath does not approve of that idea.
It's not that I don't approve, it's just that I hate... Well, I don't even hate it. I just like... Oh, here we go. He goes right to Sailor Moon.
Well, dude, that's my ace in the hole in all of our podcasts is Sailor Moon.
Don't say Sailor Moon and ace in the hole in the same sentence. What's the matter with you? You're a perv. You are a perv.
Well, I didn't think of it that way, but...
Listen to you, Brett. You got Bloodbath pissed. He's going to split your face like
I'm
two
not
aces.
Pissed.
Can I see how many times I can reference the character Sailor Moon in this podcast and see how long it takes until Brian just hangs up and stops doing the podcast?
You got about 2 more times.
Okay, good. I'll hold on to it.
Hang on to it until the end.
Yeah, okay.
But what else do you have?
All right, so sailing on, I think this next movie's going to be over the moon. Neil Marshall will be directing the rated R Hellboy reboot. I think that's going to be awesome. Hellboy needs to be a rated R movie.
Yes.
I'm excited about that.
Nope. I'm sick of fucking comic book movies. I'm sick of fucking comic book heroes. I don't give a shit if Neil Marshall's directing it. I don't care anymore. It's so dumb. Ugh, whatever. Just go make Dog Soldiers 2. I don't know, man. I saw it, and my note for that was, oh, great, more comic book bullshit. Because that's all Hollywood wants to spend their money on. It's like a guaranteed payday for them. And it's the same fucking movie. All of them, they're the same movie. It's the same shit all the time. It's annoying. And it sucks up all the box office seats. It sucks up all the theaters. If you're going to like an 8-theater multiplex, that Marvel movie or that comic book movie is playing in 6 of them. It just sucks. I mean, that's part of the reason why there was nothing good in theaters the other day. When we were back and we decided to watch the fucking Bye Bye Man, which was terrible. So every time you think a comic book movie is good, just think like, because of comic book movies, I got stuck at home watching the Bye Bye Man. And you'll
The pee pee poo poo man.
the poo poo pee pee man. It's fucking awful.
That movie fucking started out strong though.
It had a
That
good
guy's
beginning.
I thought it was gonna be good. I was like, oh shit, maybe everybody's wrong. And then I was like, oh nope, everybody's right. All right, so for my last little tidbit is in Indonesia, this fucking crazy like sea beast washed up on the shore of Indonesia, and nobody knows what the fuck it is.
That's a perfect segue to what we're talking about today with the host, huh?
Do you think I thought about saving that for last because of that reason?
You're a smart guy.
I know. I mean, you know, Matt Moneymaker may not think that, but you know, fuck him.
That was good. So other little quick news chunks. Chiller has renewed Slasher for a second season. It's an anthology series, so if you're a curmudgeon like me and you hated season 1, season 2 might be better. Fox has now picked up a vampire series called The Passage, based on the fantasy trilogy written by Justin Cronin. They have also canceled Sleepy Hollow this week after 4 seasons. I've never watched that show, so I don't know, but people got really, really upset about it. And FX announced that the final season of The Strain begins on July 16th. On July 22nd, Spike will be airing the pilot of The Mist, which is based on the Stephen King novel, and it was already converted to a film of the same name. Bruce is going to love this one. A Serbian film is getting an ultimate director's cut, and it's adding 5 minutes of to an already very disturbing film. Wrong Turn 7 will go into production at the end of this year, which makes it safe to say that it is now off of the 2017 release list. The puppets for the upcoming Puppet Master have been revealed, and they are exactly what you expect. I guess they were supposed to be new, but they look exactly like all the other ones, so whatever. And finally, this is great news. John McNaughton and Michael Rooker are teaming up for a new film that's called A Good Man Is Hard to Find. The duo originally were working together in Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, arguably one of the greatest horror movies ever. So it's been 21 years since then, so every horror fan should be really excited because Henry is a fucking magnificent movie. With that being said, it's time for Trailer of the Week. Lots of trailers came out this week. It Stains the Sand Red, Iron Sky 2, Blade Runner was the big one. It was a huge hit. Tokyo Ghoul, but none of them added up to what I thought was the best one, which was Apple Cart. It's a film that's like I'm pretty sure he's directing it, but I could be wrong, but it's being directed by the genius behind Phantasm, Don Coscarelli, and the trailer was great, built tension really without giving anything at all away. I have no idea what the movie's about, so I'm intrigued. I
hope it's on the hippie commune.
It reminds me of Your Next, which I loved, and it has Barbara Crampton in it. So it's hard not to be stoked for this movie. So Apple Cart gets the trailer of the week, and that's all we got. So we're gonna take our break, and when we get back, we're gonna talk about The Host. You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-Ray.
You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-Ray. Let us know what you think by reaching out to us. We can be found on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, or Facebook by simply searching Blood, Guts, and Blu-Ray. To suggest a film or trailer you think we should discuss, or to comment on this or any other episode, send an email to bloodgutsandbluray@gmail.com. We will always get back to you. Thank you for listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-Ray, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Mr. Kim, formaldehyde. dirty formaldehyde. Pour him into the sink.
I've heard your daughter's still alive. Why didn't you contact the police or the military, a human rights organization, something?
The Host is a South Korean film from 2006 directed by, and I really don't mean to mess this up if I do, Bong Joon-ho. In it, 7 people die, and there is no naughty count. It's very clean. It made 11 million US dollars in Korea, so that's the translation. And it was made for 11 million, and it crushed at the box office. It brought in like 89 million. Did awesome. Let's kick it over to Brett for a synopsis. Brett, go ahead.
Awesome, let's do it. So, Usagi Tsushino, better known as Sailor Moon, is a fictional superheroine who is the protagonist and titular character.
Oh, he's always so serious in these, and he did the Sailor Moon thing.
Sorry, I had to. I couldn't help it. Okay, so the actual movie that we talked about, The Host. So, Seoul will never be the same after a negligent official discards gallons of chemicals into the Han River. But rather than damage the ecosystem or cause a civil upheaval, a mutant fish appears from the deep to cause complete havoc on the local society. Gang-do is a complete testament to this as he watches in horror as the creature captures his young daughter, Hyung Xiao. I'm going to butcher names too. And thank you. And takes her into its secret lair. Armed with an undying, spastic, and clumsy love for his daughter, he joins his dysfunctional family to hunt down and kill the dastardly demon. An old man, an alcoholic armchair intellectual, a bronze medal archer. This ragtag family is the only hope Gang-do has to retrieve his daughter and save the country in the process.
Wow, Brett, that sucks. I'm just kidding.
You're just mad about Sailor Moon.
The whole time you were doing that, I wanted to be like Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
Oh, man. That's not good. Oh, man. Brian, what you got?
And when you said young Sal, I thought of a young pig, not a small child.
I have no idea how to say the names. I'm terrible at it. I don't have that ability.
Yeah, I don't have that. I don't have that in me. So this is totally a movie that's just critical of not only the U.S. government, but just government in general. It sort of depicts both governments as a uncaring, bureaucratic, hostile entity. And the event described in the beginning of the film, where they're pouring formaldehyde down the drain, was based on an actual event that actually happened. The director, I'm gonna keep saying his name wrong, and I feel terrible when I say someone's name wrong. But Bong Joon-ho, he directed Snowpiercer, and I fucking love that movie. That movie's amazing. So, and a lot
That was
of
a cool movie.
Yeah, a lot of the same themes were present in that movie as well. You could just sense it, especially with the authority and all the other stuff. I do love how Scott Wilson got a cameo in this, and he's the medical guy, the American medical guy in the beginning, and he was in Behind the Mask, and he was one of the only good parts of The Walking Dead for the better part of 2 seasons. But I loved it. I thought that he was really cool.
He was Herschel, right? He was Herschel.
Herschel was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, he was like, just do it. I got both my arms. Pour that shit down the fucking drain.
It just didn't make sense, though. He's like, oh, there's dust on it, so just frivolously throw it out. I thought that was a little strange. But
we only use new formaldehyde.
The director, I guess, nicknamed the monster of the film Steve Buscemi, which I love. Which I love, by the way. That's great. I love that.
It's fantastic.
And it's got a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it is included in the list of 1001 movies to see before you die. So I might just be being a curmudgeon about this movie because I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was that great.
It's about to get a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
But it had its strong points. I actually thought the bad CGI served the film well. It made it like a modern take on a Roger Corman type film, and I really appreciated the clear love for the monster movie in general. What'd you guys think?
I loved it. You know what it made me think? Of the three-eyed fish from The Simpsons.
Oh, Blinky.
Yeah, it finally got its due. Like, that fish finally fucking grew up, and it killed some chick with her fucking headphones on at the park. And, like, this movie sets into fucking play. Nice and quick. Like, you're, like, seeing that whole thing. It's like, oh, no, this formaldehyde's old. Let's pour it down the drain. And it's just like, oh, hey, we're at the park, and the guy's working his stand. And it just, like, fast forwards over to some little Sailor Moon chick listening to her headphones.
That doesn't count as one of mine. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there. That does not count as one of mine.
You said we each get 2.
I didn't say you each get 2.
Just kidding. That was completely terrible of me to say, and I apologize for it. But she's just having such a good time. She's at the park. She's looking at the water, and then boom. And I mean, the thing from Cloverfield just fucking rips her. It's so good. I loved it.
This is a better movie than Cloverfield, I think.
It's definitely a better movie than Cloverfield.
Cloverfield wishes that it was as fun and exciting as this movie. Which it is definitely not. I'm not a fan of the Cloverfield movies at all. Brett, what'd you think?
I mean, although I like what you say, like the whole CGI being bad it allowed us to focus more on the characters, which I thoroughly enjoyed the fractured humanistic characters. God, I hated the CGI so much. I was like, am I watching a movie from the 80s? But regardless of that, I thought the creature did look cool, but I liked just the complete spastic characters, especially like the father, when he trips and grabs the hand of his daughter and starts dragging another little girl behind him. I just started dying laughing, and then she got eaten, and I was like, oh shit, now I feel bad about laughing. And I think this movie did that really well, where it had a lot of parts where you just you couldn't expect actually what happened, and in horror movies that could be so much replication, I feel like this movie did a really good job just throwing shit at me and having me not expect.
I'm gonna have to concur with you too, because your heart is effectively broken when the monster snatches that little kid up. Like, my jaw dropped. I was like, oh god. And it did a good job, I think, about halfway through. The first half of the movie did a really good job of balancing, like, monster disaster movie and, like, a dark comedy. And because the characters are just innately goofy. I mean, they fall all the time, and
they do.
They're stupid, but you kind of like them, and that's what you're supposed to do, and that's why movies like this are supposed to be great. And then I feel like right after the father died, the mood of the film changed, and it completely lost its charm. It had charm in the beginning, and what you're left with by the time you get to the end is, I'm not entertained in the slightest, and the CGI fucking sucks. Whereas in the beginning you're like, the CGI fucking sucks, but I can overlook that because clearly there's some budget issues that they're dealing with here. So
yeah, but they didn't do it like most smart people who don't have enough money for CGI, and they try to make practical effects and try to not show the monster as much. They put it on fucking full blast every single time that thing was on screen. I'm just like, why are you going to keep showing this thing swinging on the bridge? And it's like, I can almost see the green screen flapping in the wind. I'm like, this is just... The second I start getting into it, it would take me out completely.
I think I watched this movie with the idea in my head as if Lloyd Kaufman made it. Imagine if Lloyd Kaufman made this movie. This was a trauma film.
There'd be so many dick and fart jokes. There'd be just naked titties running around for no reason at all. It would be of no focus whatsoever.
I think I'd like to see the remake made like that. I would love to see that.
Yeah. I mean, I think Lloyd Kaufman would have been the dude to make this 100%.
But I think it would have taken away some of the parts, most of the parts that I truly loved about this film, though. I think that's the only thing I have a problem with, like Brian was saying. Just the different characters and how strange and goofy and Looney Tunesy they were, but still serious and emotional and conflicted.
Well, it gets serious sometimes. Like when they have, what is it, Gang Do? He's, at that fucking office building, and he doesn't know all those guys are gonna come out. That was
a good scene.
And all of a sudden,
that was a cool scene.
He fucking turns into fucking MacGyver. He's like, I'm gonna put the paperclip on this. It'll destroy the ground, and boom, blow all the lights, and I'm out of here.
That was Park Nam Il. That was his great character of the alcoholic, went to college but so thinks he's smarter than everybody but doesn't have a job. I loved his character. It was great that they threw him in there.
I like that funeral scene where they're just rolling around on the ground. And
that was actually going to be my favorite. When you said favorite scene, that is actually my favorite scene. But I'm sorry.
No, because at that point I was taking Hyun Sao's death, because at that point you don't know that she's not dead yet. You know what I mean? You just assume, and you're like, oh my god, this movie got really serious really quick, and they're rolling around on the ground and just being ridiculous, and I was taking that kid's death more seriously, and I thought that that's never happened to me in a movie before, So I thought that was pretty cool.
I think that there was a lot of messages in a lot of these scenes that we can touch into. Obviously more than just the America sucks, government sucks, and everybody lies, and we make up fake viruses. Obviously there's some serious shit that's out in the open, but that scene when I was watching it, at first I felt like all the characters were trying to out-mourn each other, which there's people like that in this world, that no, I'm sadder than you about this, and I felt like them pushing each other away. That's kind of what they were going for, and then all the people come out to take photos, and I'm like, oh, that's a weird message right there. Oh, let's watch your grief. This is a great photo. Let's put it on Instagram. And then they had right after that, they had the fucking idiot in the yellow jumpsuit come out with the loudspeaker, and he couldn't get it to work right, and he fell and stood up and was trying to look like he was all business. I was like, holy shit. I'm like, this fucking movie is hysterical.
It's crazy.
He's trying to get the news to work.
There's got to be some symbolism with the yellow in this movie. Agent Yellow and the yellow jumpsuit. There's something to the yellow in this movie, and I can't quite put my finger on it.
And there's something with the news, too, how people don't watch it or don't care about it or don't know anything about it. because they do it multiple times where they're like, it's either like, it's not on right now. Like if you watch the news regularly, you would know what time it's on, and then there's that, and then there's the when it's on, it's boring. There's nothing ever good on, and they just turn it off. That's at the end, of course.
Yeah.
I did one of my favorite parts, I think, because since we're talking about favorite parts now, is I love that scene where the family escapes from the hospital. I thought that was really, really, really
yes.
funny. And they're like, "Where's your sister? She's always so slow."
And she's the Olympic medalist, too, which is the best part about it, is she seems to be the worst at escaping.
Bub, what was your favorite part?
I think my favorite part was, right in the beginning, where that chick's listening to her headphones, and she's having a good time, and it just picks up nice and quick.
Gets snaked.
That monster just... Oh, man, like, you don't... Like that sets the movie in motion, and I was like, oh, man, this is gonna be... Like, I mean, I usually don't watch movies with subtitles, and, like, this movie kept me hooked. Just because, like, stupid shit like that,
You're gonna hate next month then, huh?
Oh, yeah, no, I don't like subtitles.
Really?
Yeah, dude, this is a Korean movie. I know Japanese. I don't have to watch subtitles.
Konnichiwa, bitches. That's about all the fucking Japanese you know.
Right? Namaste, motherfucker.
That's definitely.
You're like, that's not even Japanese. That's
Hindi.
Yeah, that's not Japanese. Like, he made me question myself.
That's Hindi.
Hola, senorita.
Aloha, motherfucker.
This is a marabub over here.
I told that teacher lady that the only colors that matter are red, white, and blue. So where did I leave off? Oh, yeah. Another thing that fucking annoyed me with this movie, even more than the CGI, I thought that the music was just out of place half the time. It just felt like it was... I'm having trouble putting my finger on it, but it was like Wes Anderson music at one point, and then it's like serious Transformer, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. All I know is that like the music didn't do it for me, and that's usually something that like I don't notice if it's doing its job. I usually don't notice enough to say anything, but if it's glaringly apparent that it doesn't belong, that's when I gotta mention it. So
ever since I started doing music for films, I feel like I noticed it more.
I do pay attention a little bit more.
And it sucks if you fuck it up too, because it, and I agree with you, because I can't really name a moment that really built tension in terms of like horror or anything like that. Like any of the scenes where I think there could have been some music, like there's some great setup with like the sister staring down like that passageway under the bridge, and then the monster just comes out. I'm like, this really could have used some type of music, but it was just silence.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there it is. Here it comes with that CGI. Oh, okay.
I like when she tried to run up the monster's back to get to like the clothes tied together, and the thing just grabs her, and she's just floating in midair. But they don't show you it. They don't show you it right away. You're like, what the fuck happened to her? Like did she die? Like did the thing impale her? No, it just grabbed her and let her know like you're staying here. Like you're not leaving.
Her in that sewer that's always like one of the best scenes of just like her trying to figure it out and like taking care of that young boy. Like that was, I thought all those scenes were well done with her just trying to like keep the younger child happy and mentally like hopeful to get out. I thought those were really cool scenes, and they contrasted very well with the bumbling dysfunctional family. I think that actually worked
How
very well.
we forgot we forgot an important part. The part where they're all eating, like they're looking for Hyun Sao, and they're all eating, and then all four of them hallucinate her being there, eating with them. How fucking eerily weird was that? And it actually was awesome.
It was great.
Like,
was
I
so
was like,
cool.
what the like, I was taken aback. I was a little confused by it happening. I was like, wow, that was really good. That really took me by surprise. That's awesome. I also love the part where the grandfather is like lecturing his kids and they're all like falling asleep. I thought that was really funny. And
that was a good about him falling asleep too.
he's
That's
like,
the best part. They're lecturing him about being a father and falling. He dropped him on his head or some shit when he was
he's
younger.
like, when I smell his farts in the stand, I at least know he's like a B- or an A or B+ or an A-.
Yeah.
But what was up with the mom? Like, the mom's always like, yeah, I got my bow and arrow. Like, you're going to go after this thing with a
wasn't
fucking
the
That's
mom.
his
bow.
sister.
Oh, no?
Is the sister
Oh.
or the aunt?
Yeah,
I guess
it was the aunt.
The mom ran off. The mom ran off or something when the kid was born.
Yeah, she was just weird. She was just straight up
She was
weird.
really
Right?
weird.
Like, what are you thinking? Bow and arrow? You're just going to kill this thing with a bow and arrow? Like, everyone's shooting at it with shotguns? Come on.
That's true. Yeah, but she's supposed to be like super skilled. Like she could put that bow or she could put that arrow exactly where she wants it to go if she has enough time. That was like her weakness. Her Achilles heel is time. Right.
Hesitation, yeah.
The filmmakers they use the monster slow-mo dropping from the bridge into the water like way too many times. I counted 3, and I thought that the first time was effective enough and that you didn't need to do that again and again. What did you think about that? You know what I'm talking about, where it's like it's hanging off the bottom of the bridge and then it slows down and like, basically does a perfect dive into the water. I thought that was more than once is too much. That's my opinion. Brett?
No, I totally agree with that, and it almost felt hammy. It was overused, and you're right. What's funny about that is I totally noticed that too. I'm like, I thought like maybe I accidentally rewound the movie because it was the same fucking scene over and over again, and like I get it, you're trying to be dramatic, but it's a fish with big sharp teeth and like 4 mouths, and it looked almost like a fish version of the monsters from the Upside Down world from Stranger Things.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
You're right.
Which, I don't mean to piggyback off that, but I did think it was cool that and they never really explained it, but it drinks water out of the air. When it was quote unquote watching them when they were in that, in the place they were eating, it was just standing like by their bus or whatever with its mouth open and its tongue out, drinking the water that was falling from the sky. And then at the end, it was also thinking it should drink the gasoline. It didn't make any sense. It was kind of cool looking, but at the same time, I was like, why? It lives in the water. I'm perplexed. Why would a fish that survived in water mutate and no longer be able to survive off of the water that it was in? It was just weird, but at least it looked cool. Probably because the creature wasn't moving, so the CGI was almost believable.
There's another cool scene was funny anyway, is when those two doctors, the one American doctor and the other like Korean translator doctor were talking, and they're like, he's like, yeah, there's people even in the military that don't know this yet. There's no virus. And they're like saying it loud enough for Gangdu to hear that. And he's like, what? There's no virus?
He's like, maybe the virus is in his head.
I thought that was... I was laughing. And it was the one like scientist or bug scientist from Silence of the Lambs. I thought that was... Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs, yeah. Paul Laser. I was like, oh shit, it's the guy that awkwardly hits on Jodie Foster.
You like to go out for cheeseburgers and beer, Agent Starling?
So this
Are you hitting on me? Yes.
What do you got?
This is South Korea horror film? What do you think this would be if it was
North Korea
horror film?
loved this movie, weirdly enough. Because it bashed bashed America and it bashed the South Korean government. So they applauded it. True story. I read it on the internet. It has to be true.
It's got to be true, and I can see that. And actually, honestly, I agreed with. I liked the interesting take. I mean, it wasn't like brutally bashing it. It did it enough, and also because, like you said before, it was based on a true story of McFarlane and doing all like that, doing all that dumping and shit. But I liked it. I thought it was an interesting take, and I liked how it wasn't just like overly like, oh, let's bash America. Like, no, let's bash everybody pretty much. Let's bash any government and how they're gonna lie and say it's a virus so they can cover up the fact that they screwed up. And I like that. I thought that was a really good angle.
And I mean, Godzilla did the same thing. So, Godzilla. Is essentially the same movie. It's big American forces caused this problem, and our government can't handle it. It's bigger than our government anticipated. I don't understand the ending though. So they're exposed to the monster, which means that the effects of those chemicals don't bother them. Is that what happened? Because they're,
it almost seemed like that.
That's what I gathered. Is that what you got, Brett?
Yeah, kind of. I'm kind of on the same board with you that the whole Agent Yellow thing, I didn't really get why it affected people and why this and that.
I didn't even understand why they were dumping it on people. Like, it just didn't occur to me. Like, I must have missed something along the lines because they're dumping it on protesters.
They kind of said keep running until you cannot hear this fucking message. And the ones that were too close, they just got dumped on.
Yeah, but then there were protesters that were protesting to release Gang Do, and I'm like, wait, how do they know about him?
Oh,
I mean, I know he's like wanted. I know he's wanted because but they don't know his story. I was like, why are they protesting him? Do they know what he's? Do they know he's searching for his daughter?
I mean, that was
the fucking nurses, and nobody believes him. So
an inside thing. Yeah.
It was just weird. It was weird, and there's just a lot of like crazy inconsistencies that I just don't really understand. There must have been a message there, and that was just my take on it. I'm like, it's probably something I don't get because I'm stupid.
I did like the monster fight at the end. I thought it was good. I thought that was cool. Pretty cool. Even though it was terrible CGI, I had fun watching it, and I thought that it didn't drag on too long. The one guy poured gasoline on it, and then they lit him on fire, and I thought that was cool. I could appreciate stuff like that. So the one dude drops his Molotov cocktail, and then she lights him on fire with a flaming arrow right in the eyeball. I thought it was fucking rad.
And I agree because it had that same charm in the beginning of like him grabbing the hand. I loved the brother dropping the final Molotov cocktail on the ground and smashing it. Like, this movie had a really great sense of humor in the perfect moments. Like, just when you're like, oh, this is all serious, all go time. You fucking idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was, how the dad died because Gagdu's an idiot and he's like, yeah, I have bullets left in this one. He hands him a gun with no fucking bullets. Like, the humor was great in these scenes, and the ending was awesome, and the homeless man really ended up being the hero of the film.
I like the ending where to the point where they kill the monster and he's walking away with the little boy, like carrying the little boy away, and then the postscript on it or whatever, where they're in the shop, I thought was utterly pointless. That whole scene, I just thought to me that whole scene was just utterly pointless.
No, I agree. I think it was trying to go. It was trying to show us that he had become a responsible adult. Obviously, they changed his hair color. He got rid of that like youthful, trying to be youthful, frosted tip haircut hairstyle he had. So showing him with like dark hair and being more mature, and feeding the kid. I get what they were going for. It just didn't work. It did not work at all.
Yeah, it didn't translate well. Anybody got anything to add before we go to break and rate this thing?
I think I touched on every
guy hit every note already. Bob?
You know what I one thing I want to talk about is like you watch these fucking like these movies, and like in the news right now, it's always like Korea, is trying to launch this and trying to launch that. And I don't really get into that shit, but like it's crazy. Like you hear about all these big leaders and shit, but there's normal dudes in Korea making these fucking horror movies. And I think that's fucking awesome. Like you never think about those people. You always hear about Donald Trump and fucking, Korean leaders and like I mean, like that guy looks like a total prick, but you got these normal dudes making horror movies. That's fucking awesome.
Who do you think's got worse hair, Donald Trump or Kim Jong-un?
They're both fucking terrible.
Oh my god, they're awful.
They're both terrible. I'm gonna go with Kim Jong-un being the worst, though. I think his.
I have to agree with that
because it just
as well.
doesn't go with his fat face. You're listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray.
You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray. We are dedicated to bringing you the show across your favorite medium. We can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. Please send all suggestions to bloodgutsandbluray@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.
All right, we're back, and we're going to do that thing where we rate that movie. The movie, of course, is The Host, and we're going to start off with Bub. Bub, we'll go ahead and let's hear your rating.
All right, so I gave this movie 3 stars. And I know it seems a little high, it wasn't a hard 3 stars, but I like that it started off nice and fast. Like you see that monster in the first 10 minutes. And you know what's going on. And the CGI may be shitty, but it kicks into effect right away. And then the story along the way is totally broken. But there's some MacGyver moments, like the paperclip with the fucking outlet. And I mean, it has its shining points. And I don't know, there's a few times where I got a little upset watching this movie, like when she's dead at the end. Like, come on,
after
man.
all that?
That fucking killed me. I have a fucking daughter, dude, and I was like, fuck, that sucks for that guy. That sucks that his kid's dead. And then, like you said, the last fucking 5 minutes of the movie isn't needed, but he's taking care of this kid because he knew his daughter. He's kind of like, hey, man, I don't know what you got going on, but you knew my kid and I'm going to take care of you. And that's kind of fucking cool. So it gets a 3 from me.
The first, I feel like we're all going to be kind of saying similar things, but the first 40 minutes are just awesome, and they're just a good time. It really starts to set up a good story with a ton of humor and symbolism thrown in, and I was really enjoying the film. And Bloodbath, you nailed it on the head. After the grandfather in the family dies, this film just goes off the rails. Now, in stereotypical horror length, if it went off the rails for the last 30-40 minutes, that'd be okay, but there was another hour and 20 minutes of this fucking movie, and it just dragged, and the CGI was unacceptable after a certain amount of point. I mean, you could, like you said, you could take it in the beginning and be like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of the point of this, kind of campy, but I feel like it got kind of serious on itself really fast out of nowhere. It didn't resonate. Funny, a lot of enjoyable moments, but ultimately it's flawed. I give it a 2 out of 5.
Yeah, I felt the film was way too long, and basically I agree with everything you said. It broke away from itself in the second half. It maintained some comedic elements throughout the film, but it gave up its strong suit, being just a monster movie. And if you cut 30 minutes from the movie, it's a good movie. 30, 20, something like that. But there didn't need to be 2 hours long.
Yeah.
So, I kind of just by plot similarities, I sort of put it into the same category as a movie like Q the Winged Serpent, which I really, really liked, and I only gave it a 2.5. So there's no conceivable way I can ever put this movie above that, because I really like that one. And this one, I'm on the fence about whether or not I'd watch it again. So I'll probably give it a 2. I'm gonna go with a 2. I was really undecided until now, because it was either gonna be 1.5 or a 2. But I mean, I guess if push came to shove, I'd sit down and watch again, laugh at all the same parts. But, you know, I'd probably fall asleep in the second half like I almost did. So.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So that.
Bloodbath's tired tonight.
Man.
He's tired tonight. You can see it. You can see it.
So that's going to do it for it's a rather short episode of Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray this week. We will be back next week with Puppet Master 3. Until then, toodaloo.
Good evening.
Thank you for listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray. Written and hosted by Bloodbath, Bub, and Brett667. Edited and produced by Bloodbath. Music has been graciously provided by the Slasher Film Festival Strategy and Nightbirds. Artwork and logo have been provided by Bub. Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray is available on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, as well as @BloodGutsBluray on Twitter, @bloodgutsandbluray on Instagram, and visit our Tumblr page by going to bloodgutsandbluray.tumblr.com. For any questions regarding the show, advertising, or anything else, please send an email to bloodgutsandbluray@gmail.com. Thanks again. Get possessed.
Thank you for listening to the Court Arts Podcast Network. To listen to more Court Arts shows, visit courtamparts.com.